Oh, Lord Atlanta. Oh, my Lord Atlanta. Woo-hoo!
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go!
Hey fuckheads, I want to read you a quote real quick from a guy named Steve Spainhour. He was one of the folks at the mall in Texas yesterday where 8 people were killed. He wasn't one of the victims, rather he was trying to help people. And he said this, but just a heads up, this is pretty graphic. The first girl I walked up to was crouched down, covering her head in the bushes, so I felt for a pulse, pulled her head to the side, and she had no face. We're so far beyond the point of diplomacy with this. Every fucking week we're watching people get slaughtered on the news and then watching a bunch of shit reporters miming out whatever emotion they feel people want to see. Bring on the Republican politicians spouting off about thoughts and prayers while they stuff NRA donations up their asses. These people are fucking degenerate monsters, and I'm sorry if you think this is uncouth, but I don't really give a fuck about maintaining a vocabulary deemed acceptable in our social contract when that contract's been used as toilet paper by our elected leaders for the past decade. Fuck all these attempts at bullshit decorum. To the people who squawk like a fucking chicken whenever someone dares to suggest we need to reform our gun laws, do you actually believe that bullshit, or do you have the self-awareness to know that you've been inculcated into this cult of gun ownership under the guise of upholding your rights, when in reality the gun lobby and politicians aren't doing anything about this because they care more about donations and re-election than people's actual lives? That is the reality of this situation. You've been conned by a bunch of grifters into thinking that somehow owning a gun is a right. What, because a bunch of decrepit slave owners decided that it was a right in the fucking 1700s, you think it's tyranny to change that? Can you at least be honest about this? You just want to have guns because you like them, and it pisses off the people you don't agree with to have them, so fuck everyone but you. Fuck all the people dying. Those are just stories on the news you can ignore. It's not actually real for you, and that's all that matters. You can keep fantasizing about being the good guy with the gun because you live in a fantasy, and as long as these soul-sucking politicians keep upholding that fantasy, you'll keep voting for them. And please don't jump in my comments telling me that guns don't kill people and this is a mental health crisis. First off, people kill people with fucking guns. That's how that works. And if you actually gave a shit about the very real mental health crisis in this country, you wouldn't keep voting for these grifters that continually cut legislation that aims to assuage the mental health crisis. These are just shitty talking points used as a shield to try and deflect away from how fucking obvious it is that things need to change. But nothing ever comes of this. We just sit and wait for the next mass shooting so we can have this argument again while a bunch of rich pricks stroke themselves off to the thought of how much money this outrage will make them. It's fucking disgusting.